just something on the 1 minute with a yes, but we formed equal lows with the sell side in Asia. It was kind of weird. That would be the most ideal. Why then? So, what? Why do you see 10:30? Okay, but why then? Okay. I can spend more time beneath ages ago, then I think I can start to look for my model. Right? Hello? You there? Yeah, I was asking. You live in Canada, yeah? I wanted to ask about the situation. You live in Canada, right? Yeah, I wanted to ask about the situation with gun violence and whatever um, gangs there, because I was watching a video last night and I was saying that Canada has worse gun violence than Detroit and in the US. That was kind of shocking. So I just wanted to ask, is that true? Okay, it works out for other countries though. Some countries have no gun, like they have zero tolerance for any kind of firearm. It works out for them. How come in Canada it's different? For example, UAE, the United Arab Emirates, there's no gun policy. Well, not often. Not often. Yeah. Even in my home country, um, even though it's not economically the strongest, every time that I'm in the main city, like I never see homeless people, and if there are people who are begging, they're usually doing it low key, so they don't get stopped by police. But whenever I'm in my yes, also in my home country, I'm talking. Yeah, I'm also in in Jordan, in my home country, in like the main city and in like the kind of residential places. If yeah, I mean, well, it's not like they have control over it, but it is disturbing to the citizens. It's not something you deal with on a day-to-day basis. Yes. But once you go out, like you said, to more rural areas, you see a bunch of people. It's like everywhere you look, there's going to be a homeless guy. There's going to be a person asking for money for food, selling tissues or whatever. Maybe, but I was shocked hearing about Canada because I always thought it was a safe country. I thought it was like I don't know how to describe it. I thought it was like a place where, yeah. What do you feel about that, by the way? How do you feel about the whole immigrant situation there? Yeah, yeah. No, that's similar to the risk that's happening in Jordan right now with the whole Palestine and Israel situation. You watched the video that I uploaded? Uh, the I don't know. I posted a video a while ago about the biggest problem. Yeah, it was a problem of letting in Palestinian refugees into Jordan from the borders after they're displaced, the forced displacement from Israel. It would cause lots and lots of problems for Jordan economically and demographically and everything. Especially with the people that are there. Um, you know, something that the terrorist group inside of Palestine, us, what they do is when they're undergoing active invasion or active attack from Israel, what they would do is remove all claims from being any having any affiliation towards Hamas, and they would act like civilians. And then once that kind of attack dies down, or once Israel backs off for some time, they put back on they put the uniforms back on, and they begin their extremist ideas and leading people out on the street and writing on whatever the hell they do. So one thing that would be a big worry is letting in those terrorist groups disguised as civilians. If the country of Jordan does take in the displaced refugees, and that's the problem. They're gonna accumulate extremist groups. They're gonna cause problems for the country. It probably won't bleed out into the inner city, but it will affect the more rural areas, and obviously that has an effect on the country. But and it's a bunch of people too. That it would ruin the country. So I really hope that none of the superpowers kind of force it on us. But well, the Trump and the king or Jordan, I've spoken about the topic. I watched an interview that they had in the White House. Um, as a gesture of like goodwill, the king accepted to take in, I think, 2,000 strictly children that are sick to have treatment in Jordan. And from there, he would send them back to Palestine. He would bring them to Jordan for strictly for medical treatment. And Trump, you know how he does his mind games and whatever. He's such a tough person. He's hard to deal with. So kept insisting on like saying we work out a plan, we work out a plan. And it's obvious that the king doesn't want to work out a plan, but because it's Trump, said that he would have a meeting with the Arab nations. He would figure out a distribution plan for the refugees, like maybe in Saudi, maybe in Egypt, maybe yeah, just around the countries. But it's no way we're going to take in the entire population of the displaced refugees in Gaza. It will be better for the country. This is obviously not moral, but it will be better for economically and demographically for the country of Jordan if Israel just genocides the entire population of Palestine. It would be better for the Palestinian country. Obviously, it's not moral. Definitely a possibility. It's 100% a possibility. If Trump sees that it's too much of a risk to, what do you mean, Israel and Palestine, it has never stopped. It was going on this entire time. Uh, oh, you know, honestly, it feels like all hope for the country being called Palestine existing is gone. I feel like there's no hope for it. Yeah, I don't think they will ever again. Yeah, that's insane. But it is, yeah. Um, but eventually it will be. Eventually it will be. As of now, it's technically still a part of it's land for the Palestinian people. But how long is that gonna last? Well, that is that is kind of insane. Maybe might be looking at a long position right now. You see the low that we formed at 944? That's a short-term low for me. We ran again and then we accumulated until the morning macro at 950 where we started to trade higher. You see how we're engulfing down moves and using them as order blocks higher. Now that we have the breaker formed from the 944 low, I want to see if we can trace into that. Then from there, it's possibly move up. Wait, I'll send you a screenshot. Might take that. The thing is, I'm just not sure if it feels a bit rushed. You know, I feel like I'm missing something. That's the only thing. Yes, I am. I'm following my rules. I am gonna take it now. But the fuck, man, I can't press the thing. Why is it changing my interval? No, 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 no. I no, I would not. I want to see it just run to the high at 939, and then um, from there I'd be kind of, I'm just waiting to see what would happen. Because that high is also the start of a 5-minute fair value gap, so it can't just move into there and then start to reverse. So exactly, yeah, exactly. If I wanted to hold it to midnight open, I would want to see the high at 939 be shifted through or closed through. 939. Yeah, yeah.
My microphone this whole time wasn't working. Oh my. Okay. Well, what I was saying, in case it wasn't working, is I think you are hearing Omar, but on Discord. Sorry, my friend ODSCT, OD underscore SCT. He took this trade right here, and I noted this down, but he taking this because it allows him to get 20 points. So he's not actually thinking about the trade here. Oh, I put in the wrong screen. Sorry. He's not thinking about the trade here. The long term rules. He's thinking about the individual trade. So he's taking this just because it allows him to get exactly 20 points, thinking in his head that he's going to get those 20 points by taking this trade. So if this trade ends up losing, he's going to be mad though. So what I asked him is, would you be willing to hold this for longer? And he said, absolutely not, because I think we're only going to go up to this short-term high. He's going into this 20-point trade, 20-point profit and stop loss because I recommended that he does. I said, if you just go for 20 points, you'll learn to mold yourself into a trader that can hold bigger trades and that can follow rules. You're just starting with 20 points as a sample size, something that's easy to get, so that emotionally you're more in check to trade. And then start holding and following more complex models where you're in trades for much longer. But I don't think this is a good trade at all. If you're trying to hold this for a lot longer, I don't think so at all. Maybe it could work, but I'd rather wait for a sweep, right? Which is why he's not feeling too certain about it. He's saying it might be a little
long, so
early. But let's see if it works out. Sorry, what'd you say? What? I don't know why it's not working. Why is my... Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, hello?
Oh. What'd you say?
I can hear you. I said I'm not usually in trades for this long, so this is new to me.
What for 2 minutes? How long have you been in the trade?
Let's see, I've been in the trade for 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, right now he's freaking out. He's freaking out because he can't hear me right now, but he's freaking out because in the back of his mind, he's only taking this because it can allow him to get 20 points. That 20 points is supposed to be a piece of what he could get, and he's supposed to find what he could get by following a simple set of rules. And he's not following that mindset you need to have. He's thinking about the individual trade outcome. How do you feel?
Right now, I'm honestly, I went on a 15 minutes and I noticed that we're also trading inside of a 15-minute fair value gap, so that lowers my confidence. I was hoping that it would run up to that high before we're able to form it. So since we didn't do that, now we're just kind of floating in it. And I'm not sure how that makes me feel. But...
And if that 15-minute fair value gap, you kind of noticed it.
Sorry?
You kind of noticed that 15-minute bearish fair value gap.
Well, I was hoping that we would run up to the high before we were able to form it, because we were on the candle that was forming the low of it.
So why don't you close the trade right now? If you're hoping that would occur and it didn't occur.
Do you think I should close it?
Well, you said you wanted to run up in there before we formed the 15-minute fair value gap, and now the fact that we formed the 15-minute fair value gap makes you feel a different type of way. You're basically almost to take profits, so you should be fine. But
I don't know. Do you think I should? I think I'll close it if we take the high at 9:39. So it should happen right about now. Yeah. All right, I closed it there.
Okay, I gotta flame you for a second though, because when you told me why you took this trade, you said because it allows me to get 20 points. And then you're worried about taking it too early. You're worried about higher time frames. So remember when I told you that you should try 20-point take profit, 20-point stop loss? The 20-point take profit, is for, let's just say you think it's gonna go 60 points. You're only trying to get 20 of those points, a piece of it, so you can grow into a trader that can take those good trades. Because we both agree this is a very bad trade. If you get in you can't see my screen. Hold on. If you get in at the breaker and you put your take profit at the high of the morning at 9:30, we both agreed this is a really bad trade. This could work. It
Yeah.
could go all the way up there, but this is a really bad trade. And there's no like your model doesn't align with this or anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, taking it all the way up to to midnight open or 8:30 open or
Yeah.
to the old level of all-time highs, that would not be my model. I wouldn't be taking that.
Yeah. So, but see, you're now it's okay if your model says sell it at 20 points right there, but it's the language you use. You only decided to get into this trade because you could get 20 points. If this low was a bit lower than 20 points, if 20 points is maybe up here, would you have still taken this?
No,
Yeah, so
if
you see, you
you
wouldn't have.
see,
You you're
yeah,
you're
okay,
you're taking things because it in the back of your mind you want it to work and you're trying to see, okay, well what's going to work? What could work here? Oh, I see the short term high that we could enter. Oh, that could give me 20 points. Let me buy it right here. And you can see why if it doesn't work and you get more angry versus if you had something that was a clear sweep and you had your breaker that formed and then you were able to hold a huge range. It'd be much easier to get 20 points of that range rather than hold the whole range. But it's that language when you said specifically, you said, I'm only taking this because it allows me to get 20 points, but I wouldn't hold it any higher than that because I don't think it's going to go higher. It could go lower from here. Then, what if it left a breakaway gap and it didn't ever, never even entered that 5 minute fair value gap? Because it could have done that, right? And I mean, if the bias is still short, which it is, right? The higher time frame is displacing lower. You're trying to catch a reversal, but you're not really trying to catch a reversal. You're trying to catch a piece of a pullback. And that the worst is that piece. 20 points isn't a piece. 20 points is the entire pullback. So you're trying to catch the entirety of a move, a very small move, and you ended up seeing a lot of consolidation. So mentally, you were saying, I don't know how I feel about this. I'm in this trade longer than I usually am. So you start to feel, and it makes sense that you're not in trades very long because usually you're trying to go for just 20 points, which is a piece of a bigger range. So your trade should be very quick, but you spent a lot of time into this and you used up some of your mental equity. And if it had lost, I bet you would have been mad, and you would have been more likely to tilt and do something, risk doing something very bad with your account.
okay. So let me share my screen so I can explain to you um what I was thinking when I was. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
Okay. So the main reason why I took this is because when I first woke up in the morning and when we first started the call, this is what I was hoping for. So one thing that's in my system, I have a flow chart that I refer back to whenever I want to take a trade, and the initial starting point of that is this what you expected when you first tried to predict what was gonna happen in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
And my answer to this was yes, and that's the main reason why I took a trade. But um, the reason why I strictly want to take it to this high, and I wasn't comfortable going past this high and expecting it to move higher than this range here, was because while we were forming this gap is when we had the breaker form. So I was expecting that we would kind of spool because we were in the morning macro. We were during the morning macro within this candle. I was thinking that we were gonna push higher from there, and we would negate the formation of this fair value gap here.
Mm-hmm.
So this candle would look all the way up here and just deny it from forming, or we would during this candle run to this high here, and then from there, whatever happens, it's none of my business because I'm already out.
Yeah, but you
Now,
you got in after the fair value got formed, by the way.
yeah, that was a mistake. That was
Yeah,
what I didn't notice.
but what
I
I'm
was
saying is you're also doing I just think you're doing way too much thinking. Like you're doing thinking this, thinking that, and then all of a sudden you're wrong on your thinking. And then what if it hadn't went up to the breakaway gap and it would have left the breakaway gap. The 5 minute gap wouldn't have been traded to. What if it had not done that? you know all the
But
thinking you would have done would have been wrong, and you would have felt a
yeah,
certain
I
type
know,
of way.
but the thing that pushes that aside is that we had the run on the sell side on Asia low, which is what I was expecting, and then we did for my model. We had the low, the high, lower low, had the higher high, and then I had the order block here that held price higher, and then from there it delivered to the high.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I know. That's fine. That's fine. Taking that like that is perfect. But what I'm saying is that you you didn't your language when you took the trade, like what you were thinking when you took the trade, didn't like it didn't sound good because you're saying I'm only taking this because it will run 20 points, which means that you think it will run 20 points, so you're taking it. Do you see what I mean? Like you can't take trades and then be like expect it to work. You got to be like completely okay with it failing. So like I don't think you should just take a trade because you think it will go 20 points. Like that's a bit like maybe it's still your model is there, but what I'm saying is your language, like the way you're thinking about the trade, at least is is bad because if that high hadn't been 20 points, if it had been lower than 20 points, you wouldn't have taken that trade, like you said. So you have to take the trade regardless if your model is there or not, and not whether where your take profit could be.
say that last part one more time.
Like you gotta take the trade for the rules, not where you can put your take profit. Like that we both agree that right now I think we're still showing bearish order flow. You're trying to catch the reversal, even though it did take a sell side. You know it could keep taking more sell side. You're trying to catch the knife. You're trying to catch the bottom, which is dangerous. But you know it didn't have to go up that high. And I mean the like you said, I only took the shade because it could work for 20 points. But remember when I gave you the idea to trade those 20 points, to just look for 20 points, it was inside for a bigger move. You're trying to capture 20 points inside of a bigger move. So you're giving up a lot of profit. And when I
Mhm.
asked you, do you think you can hold this trade to 930 high? You said no. So what you're trying to go for is a quick scalp. And like I did trades like this before, but these aren't consistent. You can't like you're gonna be wrong very often if you do this much thinking. If you look for this many like conditions, you know, if you keep it super simple and your goal is to capture like you know what all the a certain draw to a higher time frame key level, which could be 100 points range, but you're only taking away a piece of that, and eventually what I was saying when I first told you about 20 points, you can grow yourself into being a more consistent trader who can hold trades for a lot longer and bigger ranges and put more risk on the table and feel okay with leaving it there.
I see what you're saying now. The problem with this was that the trade that I was trying to capture, or that would be right to capture, is the whole move was 20 points.
Yeah,
It's not
exactly.
apart.
Your probabilities will
It's not.
decrease. The probabilities are gonna shrink if you're trying to capture these tiny retracements. If you
I see.
instead capture a piece of a very large range, the probabilities increase greatly.
Yeah, okay, yeah. That makes lots of sense. Then. Yeah, okay. You know, um, I wanna, I wanna go on my trades for this evaluation. I wanna show you.
Just wait, just before we do
Uh,
that, another thing I would have done before in the past is I would have tried to go short here. Remember how I said at the beginning where there's a 4 hour fair value gap that we're entering, so I want to see 15-minute short term low get taken out, and the trade could come at around 10:30. So you see, I would have
uh-huh.
tried to short down to this low because we're doing exactly what I said would happen. I would have tried to make money on that, right? But this isn't right because the move I really want is we grab this low, we've taken sell side liquidity, and then we have a bigger expansion towards the high of the day or buy side liquidity or the equilibrium midnight open, whatever. But we have a large range, and then I want to capture a piece of that range. So I'm gonna be patient
Yeah,
and wait to see if it gives me that setup. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. It's actually crazy. But I get what you're saying now about the 20 points. Um, well, I'm glad that it worked because if it didn't, then that would have really beat me up.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it still does hold some kind of annoyance in the back of my head. You see, the problem was when I was first, like when I was first coming up with the idea of this trade, and I was first thinking that I might be looking at a trade right now. I was on the 15-minute chart, and I saw that it had 5 minutes left on this candle. So when I went on the 1 minute, I kind of, I don't know, like I forgot about the 15-minute one. It's like it left my mind, and just I took it, and then while it was playing out, I went on the 15 minutes and I saw that I had formed, and then my heart kind of dropped. I started feeling iffy about all of the drawdown that I was getting, and obviously takes up my mental equity. But just one thing that I'm having kind of trouble explaining to you is that I was expecting it to take this high, and then from there it would be a possibility that we would rush through it and then continue to trade higher. But that possibility would not be a risk to me because I would already be out. I wasn't saying that okay, we may run to the high for sure 100%, but I had my model form, and then when it does form, it works in a way where it confirms order flow shift, and obviously here it doesn't because it's not 100% of the time. But I should take its word on that. I should be able to take it when I see it.
I think
And
I think.
maybe if I,
Oh no, go
may,
ahead. Sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
No, no, sorry. I just
Okay.
want to add something really quickly. When you said it, the order flow didn't.
Okay.
I think it did shift in the 1 minute, but the higher time frame order flow is what trumps the lower time frame here in this case.
Yeah, that's probably right. But what I was saying is, if I was going for a full discretionary stop and take profit, what I would do is I would enter on the breaker, I'd have my stop at the breaker low, then I'll put my take profit at the that open. That, that would be the trade. Okay, it may not have worked, but um, the situation where you explained, where the 50-minute would form a low and then you would wait until 10:30 until it runs back one more time. That's just not the way that I have my model set up. The way that I have it is I wait for a breaker. I have the sell side pool that I want to see taken beforehand, and then from there I take the model long. So,
Mm.
okay, this wouldn't have worked. It is following all my rules, and
This what you have
the
drawn
15
out
minute
though.
thing, yeah.
What you have drawn out though is a really bad trade. Like, almost never happens where price goes down to a 4 hour PD array and then uses the 1 minute chart to reverse. Like, you're not going to be able to catch a bottom using going from a 4 hour chart to a 1 minute chart.
So you think a 4 hour to 15 minutes more appropriate?
Yes. Yeah, you got to give it some time to consolidate into sweep.
Yeah, that's probably true. And what you said about the high when around here and then start to form the 15 minutes short term low, and then from there we'll run one more time. Um, my model actually formed here short, so as we ran this
Hey
high,
Nolani, thank you for the
we went above
comments.
the range equilibrium.
Welcome to the live.
Then from there we hit this high, so, and then that gives us a anticipation breaker. This fair value gap here would have been taken to go short and to this low. I'm not going to take that because that's not what I'm expecting for the day. Like you said, you're hoping to take the low on this and then see it as a soup, and then from there we turn higher. And
Mm-hmm.
if we do come down to this low and we do soup this low, that would be huge confirmation that we are going to be entering bullish order flow because, as I told you before, a bearish breaker being formed in bullish order flow is going to be a bullish turtle soup almost all of the time. I've seen this play out so many times. It's such a good confirmation for order flow. Um, you see where we have a high, low, higher high, then people would want to be seeing shorts would expect a displacement through this low and then return back to it and then move lower. But bullish order flow would have a soup on that low, and then we'd have a continuation higher there, then treating this as a turtle soup, and then it would obviously bullish order flow, so it means that this 50-minute gap here would be inversed, and then we probably see a new all-time high.
Nice. Alright. Well, we'll see. And it might not sweep, as I saw on the 5-minute chart. There's a short-term low we swept at 10:05, and it's showing it's rejecting that low. So I mean, it's either gonna be choppy or
ES. I think ES formed the SMT. Yeah, it did.
yeah, it did. So it might not sweep the Dow to SMT. I don't know. We'll see if it sweeps, but if it doesn't sweep, then I mean, I would need a 50-minute fair value gap to inverse, which would probably be an afternoon trade. But I mean, yeah, from looking at a 50-minute chart, the 10:30 trade is still valid. Like, I think there can still be a trade inside the 10:30 50-minute candle or 10:45. It just needs to come down to sweep.
Would your rules still allow you to take us with a SMT instead of a soup, or do you require a soup?
No, I require a soup or fair value gap, some sort of PD array. So like if the 5-minute has a breakaway gap that it mitigates instead of sweeping, and it's a continuation, then I can take it. But we're at the bottom, so there won't be any of that. It'll take a while for it to create an inverse fair value gap or a fair value gap on the 50-minute chart. There was a nice trade on gold. Oh, the DXY is crashing. Yeah, so you see how the way we form that 50-minute candle. I probably would stop trading now. Like all of a sudden now, I mean, I don't know, I have my alert set on the 15-minute short-term low, but the probabilities of this forming are reduced now. So it'd probably be one of those where I start to do something else and I lower my expectations of taking a trade. Like I might start studying now. Maybe I go talk to my friends or play basketball, whatever, right? But like, yeah, the way we came down to hit that 5-minute short-term low at 10:05, and then price started to react going higher, that kind of offset me a little bit, and now we could just continue going higher from this point, or just consolidate, move sideways. Again, there is no news either today, so that's very possible.
But why not use the 5-minute short-term low as a soup, and the SMT with the 15-minute short-term low is more confirmation and for your
because I can't go from 4-hour. I can't go from 4-hour to 15-minute or to 5-minute. Sorry.
Okay.
And the 15-minute chart and the hourly chart are both bearish. If you look at how the candles are closing, or they're closing lower beneath up close candles, their swings higher.
Mm-hmm.
They're closing beneath the swings higher, so my order flow is bearish, and then I need to look for sells only.
See, in my situation, if you weren't here telling me that probably not the best idea to go long. I'd be looking for a model long right now. The continuation of the breaker, the one that formed initially,
Mm-hmm.
and the SMT, and now the kind of push higher. Oh, that would be kind of telling me that it's time to look for a model long, and that the move into the 50-minute gap that happened earlier was not enough, and it wasn't. It's just not working. It's the CB is not working on the 50 minute. We're gonna move higher. So I don't know if that's gonna happen.
But from looking at a 15-minute chart, you can tell it's not really looking like the best long. Like maybe, but you're probably gonna spend a lot more time worrying about it. Because of this
what about
large
if we
15-minute fair value gap that we're trading in. It's, you see, like when, I mean, I don't know, for me, what's comfortable for me to trade is the continuation. So if we have a market maker, so we have a swing down and we have a reversal, I like to trade the continuation, the second part, once we've confirmed the reversal. Trying to time the reversal, I find that your probabilities are going to decrease, and the easiest trades with the least drawdown, the ones that happen the quickest, always happen in the second stage where we do a continuation. But if I'm taking this right now, you see how the 15-minute chart looks with that huge 15-minute fair value gap. You're going to spend a lot more time thinking about that and worrying about that rather than actually just letting the trade play out.
yeah yeah I think you're right, and the way that I'm looking at it right now is that if I were to frame another trade based off of what you're telling me, or not based off of what you're telling me, just based off how my model would allow me to, if I weren't to look for a long right now, is I'd wait to see like you said, the reversal to be confirmed, to see a run above this intermediate term high, and close above that, and then maybe while remaining beneath 830 a minute open, I want to see a fair value gap or a point of interest, and we form a continuation model in it, and from there we can go long properly. While the run on this high confirms
Yeah.
the move higher.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the more sensible trade.
If we don't get a sweep, we're probably going to get choppy price action. Hey Samuel Memburu, a nice setup. Thank you. You must be talking about the charts. I'm not sure which setup you're referring to, but I mean, I'm waiting for a setup. It might form, might not. I want this 15-minute low to be taken out. If we do take it out, I'm gonna look long. But I see we have 2 viewers right now. Thank you everybody for watching. That's Samuel Nolani. Hello, welcome to the stream. I hope you're enjoying.
Really hitting what you were saying earlier about my trade. I was trying to capture an entire 20-point range, one that was the entire range, instead of trying to take a piece of the larger move. I see now.
Yeah, it worked out for you here. Like, you did good, but you know, you can see how we're in a consolidation. It's not, there's more times where you're gonna, not more times, but there's gonna be times where you're gonna be wrong on these things and you get stuck. I mean, even if this is your model, like, it's, I'm not saying it's bad to look for these tiny trades that you're doing, but it's just the language you were using. You know, specifically you said, oh, I'm only gonna take this because it's gonna work for 20 points. Like, you're thinking about the outcome. You're thinking about the profit. You're not thinking also about the risk.
Yeah. I see now. That makes sense.
If you had said, oh, the RR is bad, so it doesn't really line up with my model because it's gonna mess up my stats or whatever, that's fine. But you're going for a 1-on-1 RR, so it's not like, you know, it's not like the RR was bad. It's as bad as it can be. Well, no, it's not bad to have low RR, but you know what I mean.
No, I never really was comfortable with high RR trading. because I hate the feeling of being in trades. It's just so makes me so nervous, makes my voice shaky.
But that's
It's
I
something
think
that I
I
need to
think
learn
it's
to get
also
over.
because your quality of the trades. You're picking these trades that, like, if I was sitting in this trade still, you'd still be in this trade if you hadn't take profit, right? Yeah, that
Yeah,
would be terrible. It would not feel good.
yeah,
But if you learn that, when I said start with 20 points, it's not an excuse to take these tiny micro scalps. It's you wanna wait, be patient, find a really nice setup, like maybe try and focus on one or two like nice setups where you're on the 15-minute chart. Like you right now, you're just on the 1 minute chart. Me, you go back in my stream for a good part of the stream. I'm pretty sure most of the stream I've been on the 15-minute chart or 5 minute chart because there's no need to be on the 1 minute chart. Like there's really no need to be on that 1 minute chart right now. You're looking at all these breakers and fair value gaps form, and your mind is thinking these ideas. It's trying to see these patterns that you've seen so many times in the past. Like there's really no reason. So if you're looking on the 50-minute chart, you just kind of set your alert and you wait to see what you want to see, and then that's when you drop down to your entry time frame. That 1 minute chart should only be for entries, and if you don't have the if you don't have the framework for an entry, then why drop down? So if you're gonna like be very selective now, and you're on the higher time frame, and you're waiting for that nice setup, and you're being selective, then you're only going for 20 points of that. It should happen in the click of your finger, snap your finger. If you're only looking for a
yeah.
piece of that range, eventually you're gonna then go to 30 points. This is what I did. I started at 15 points, even 12 and a half points, and then I moved up to all the way to 20. Then I did 30 on my top step. When I got my first payout, I was doing 30, and then from 30 I went to 40, and now I'm like 60. Even one time it was 150 points, and it was nothing because I was waiting for the right conditions for price to be just like price wanted to give me the profit. Like if it was in love with me and it said, "Baby, come here, come take my liquidity." It was ready in a lingerie for me.
Yeah, well, I think I'll. When you were telling me when you were telling me and for firstly when you were telling me I was texting you on Discord. It wasn't the way that I'm thinking about it now. So I think I want to incorporate that more. I think if I do see what I want to see today, either with this high or this low, then I want to maybe try to aim for 30 points.
Nice. Or
It's
like what me and my girl were reading Mark Douglas's book. What he does is he knows that 20 points is something he can get. Like for him, he had an 18 tick stop loss on bonds, and he knew that almost every trade, his trade would run 4 ticks. So he'd take partials a third of his position off at 4 ticks, and then that way he would take a 10 tick stop loss instead of an 18 tick stop loss because of those 4 ticks of profit. So he had 4 ticks less of risk plus 4 ticks of profit, so minus 18 ticks. And he said that well, you could just reduce your size and reduce your risk, but it happens almost never that price just enters and goes straight to stop loss. It always gives me a little bit of profit, and I found that profit to be 4 ticks. So it just makes sense to reduce your risk at 4 ticks. That way, you're taking away from the overall trade you're gonna make, but you're also protecting yourself mentally from actually you're reducing how much you can lose. So while you're in the trade and you've paid yourself something, it's easier for you to stay in the trade and to see it come back on you because you've already reduced that risk that you initially accepted, right? But I don't know. That's what I'm currently doing right now. I'm taking partials at 20 points, a third off, and then the rest is going to 3RR. And I might leave a small partial for something higher than 3RR, like a predetermined level.
I think it's something that I definitely need to start practicing. But, um,
But top step is hard to take partials.
see,
You can't really once you get funded.
I feel like once I get
Probably
funded,
no one. I see your comment. Haha.
I feel like I'm wasting my time with the 20-point thing, just aiming for 20 points. Because like today, taking the profit and now as I'm logging the trade in my sheets, my Excel sheet, it's like it's gonna subconsciously reinforce a bad habit. Trying to take the entire range that's just 20 points, which is gonna be way more comfortable than taking 20 points out of 100 point range, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
no, do you think I should wait until the XFA, or do you think I should just start incorporating from now? Because
I
I don't
mean,
know
it
how it's
doesn't.
working out for me.
Well, the thing is with Top Step, you can't really do partials. You can either do 2 micros or 2 contracts. So you know you're not gonna trade 2 micros and take partials and then get your $200 trading days. But yeah, so for now, I think you should just take full profit and keep doing this 20 points and go up to 30 points and 40 points.
Okay.
But yeah, I would try and that because I mean that's what I did. I don't know. You can't, but Top Step you can't really take partials. It kind of sucks. If you have a live account though, I would definitely do that. I definitely because then you kind of stop worrying about the outcome so much. Wait, just something to note. You see how the 15-minute chart made a large wick? Like the right now it's about halfway, but you see the candle was near the opening. Like the close of the candle was near the opening. Just a few minutes ago,
The
like
current
a minute
candle?
ago. Yeah, the current candle. There was like a huge
Yeah.
wick higher. If you were
Uh-huh.
on a 1 minute chart, you think about you see that fair value gap. Like now you spot that fair value gap, and now you want to short, you want to long it, like or maybe not, but it'd be you'd be looking at it mentally, and you take up some energy thinking about a potential trade, and you might not notice it, but you're gonna take some energy and time to think of a trade. Whereas if you just stayed on the 15-minute chart and you just stick true to what you're looking for, you'd waste no energy. You'd see the big wick and you'd probably think, oh, there's some fair value gap on the 1 minute, but you're not going to drop down and look at it, and you're just going to chill. And that way you conserve more mental energy. It allows you to stay in trades longer and be less emotional because you're not so responsive to the small changes on the 1 minute chart.
I think something that I need to start doing is spending more time on the higher time frames. Like I spend way too much energy and time on the 1 minute time frame. And that sometimes I remember, there's this. I remember, like I think a couple of months ago, like a while ago, I think like 7 or 6 months ago, I took a trade, a losing trade, and I went over it with you, and it was sort of the same problem that I'm still repeating here. I'm spending way too much time on the 1 minute. The trade that I took and we reviewed a couple of months ago was that I took a I took a short while we were moving into a 5 minute discounted for value gap. So obviously that made me lose, and that's similar to what happened here. I took a long into a 15-minute premium for value gap.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of annoying, but I guess I really do need to start paying more attention to the hard time frame, and especially like you said, it's way less effort mentally. Just look at the 15-minute chart and just keep an eye on the bigger picture instead of the 1 minute chart. Because if I was on the 15-minute while I took the first trade, then I would have seen this run here, and I would have known that taking 20 points is sort of a gamble. It's sort of a I hope it does that. I hope it does give me 20 points before it reverses. Because it could have just wicked into it, or like you said, it could have left it as a breakaway and then started to move lower, or just accumulated. And I don't want to be in a position where we're doing that. So uh, I need to journal that this position here should not, even though it did profit, should not reinforce bad habits. And I should be more aware of this because this happened to me before. I remember it like it was yesterday, even though it was a couple of months ago.
But you should also journal it separately too, where you did see it properly and you did do everything correctly. Like maybe a separate spot in your journal where you're looking at price in hindsight and objectively without any, you know, preconceived biases from the time of the trade. So now you're objective about things and you're talking about things as if you actually did them. That really helps because it kind of reinforces your mind, like tricks your mind into feeling like you are doing the right things when you might not be doing the right things. And then you're going to be more comfortable and confident doing the right things going forward. Because if you just talk about how you did it wrong, just talk about how you did it wrong, you're just going to keep thinking about how you did it wrong. Yeah, see, after that 10-15 candle closed, the large wick, and I said the probabilities of the setup happening were reduced, and it could just chop around here or not even sweep and go higher. Seems like I was right because we're just kind of moving back into the range that we just moved back and forth throughout twice. We are ranging now. We're consolidating, and on a 5-minute chart, this doesn't look good at all. And this is probably where people lose accounts and they get chopped up. You got inverse fair value gaps. You got fair value gaps that end up working. You seem to be creating a bit of a wedge, like we're about to have a small breakout. And once that breakout occurs, think about that. Now liquidity's been taken, so that's not really a huge range. Like there's no room for really big moves right now, really big swings. And I mean, yeah, that's also normal because we've trended so much last week. And there's no news today. People might just be away from the markets really, and not much is happening, and it's fine. You have to let it be like that sometimes.
I think no matter what we do, I'm off for the day. I won't be taking any more trades. I think I'll go to the gym. I think I'll
someone in my chat was smart. They said I'm waiting for the power hour for the PM session because they don't see a setup. So what I think is most likely to happen now is we just chop around. We may come down to the short-term low, probably not, but I have an alert if we do. But if we do chop around, I'd want this to eventually get inversed and then look for a PM session continuation to buy side liquidity. That would be like best case for the day, but there's no telling until we get there. Anyways, sorry, were you saying something?
Oh no, I was just saying the same thing that you're just basically saying. But right now it's not looking like the best. And PM session probably be a bit better.
Yeah.
We'll see until then.
Someone said they're waiting for. Oh. Someone in my chat says they want to see a retracement, probably this fair value gap. But thing I don't like about this, Nolani, is you're trying to catch a falling knife, because if you look at these candles up here, we're closing beneath them. So price and making new lows too. Price is leaving order blocks that are bearish. So if let's just say what the draw is, maybe it could be this low, or maybe it could be the order block. I don't know. And maybe it could just be this hourly fair value gap, but it might not be, and you'd be trying to catch a falling knife. I'd rather short if it pulls back. You'd be in profit on a long. I trust shorting is going to be a higher probability of working out. Well, not I trust. Shorting would be a higher probability than trying to long on the reversal. But you might be right. I don't know. It's all about probabilities at the end of the day. Oh no, she is looking for short. Oh. Oh, you wanted to bounce from the hourly gap so you can short. I see. Oh, hello Neko. How you doing? Hello Cho. My mic is a little low. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of have it at the most I can have it. I think. So I apologize. I don't think I can put it any higher. Yeah, you're kind of cooked, Joe. I don't know. I'm sorry. How you doing, Neko? How's the engineering going? Neko's a retired futures trader. He used to trade on the floor. He's retired now, but yeah, he got into some engineering instead. Went from on the floor stock trader to engineer. Yeah, Joe might be cooked. CAD. Oh, like you mean AutoCAD. That's sick. You can make buildings now. You're at Goldman Sachs? You're still there or you left? Goldman Sachs. Those people said that retail trading doesn't work. Intraday trading doesn't work. Goldman Sachs can wipe their ass with my future trading money. I'll bring them $1 billion. A billion reasons why they're wrong. That's actually funny. I left because I wanted my hairline to recede from engineering. I guess that's the secret. Yeah, what are some secrets actually? What can you tell us as an insider trader, a market maker? What can you? What are the secrets of the market? Jeez, buy a high, sell low is crazy. 100% win rate. 200% win rate. No, you're right. He can't say much. He signed the NDA. Just like ICT. ICT can't say much or they're gonna come hunting him. They're gonna look for his. They're gonna try and take his computer, seize his laptop again. If ICT was Batman, Neko would be Robin. Okay, he's joking. Yeah, no. When I say he's a retired, I don't think you would have been sued for that. But Yeah, no, he used to trade. Neko was he's a retired futures trader. Or he's just on a sabbatical, I don't know. Could be on vacation. ICT birthed Neko. Jeez. Daddy's a crazy name. ICT Daddy. Sounds low-key hot. Wait, no, pause. Big pause. No, that's crazy, actually. Crazy talk, Neko. You can't be saying stuff like that. Diddy ICT. ICT's on the Diddy list. If we don't find a setup today, Daddy ICT is gonna come over with his Diddy oil and spread my cheeks. What I said was sussy? You said that loudly as my mom came in. Oh my god. I got the mothers watching the stream now. This is second mom at this point. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. That was a joke towards Nolani.
Leon, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. What's up?
I want to ask you, what is this server that you sent me? LP and AC.
That's just me and my friend's server. I was gonna be in general there. I have my journal there. You can join if you want. I can make your own journal if you want a journal there, or just chill on the server. I eventually want to turn that server into like a community, but right now it's very, very private.
Yeah, well, I joined it already when you sent it, but all I see is the announcements.
Yeah, I know. You can't see anything. I have to give you permission. Just because I don't want anybody to be able to come in here and see stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, for the journaling part, I think I'm gonna continue to journal on Notion.
But you should be able to see more. You should be able to see more stuff. Sorry,
Yeah,
what were you saying?
I see it now.
Yeah.
I was saying, for the journaling part, I think I'll journal on Notion. I'll continue to journal there, but the chat and everything should be nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Sports is nice.
yeah, we don't use it too often, but eventually I do want to grow this into a bigger server. But right now it's only like serious people that are in the server, serious traders. There's only 3 of us.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right, nice.
But are you still streaming?
Yeah, I'm still streaming. I was talking to my chat.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna get off now. I have the alerts set at the low and the high.
Yeah.
and whatever happens,
Yeah, same.
we'll both be there. So, yeah, thank you for today. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
You want to do this again tomorrow, or maybe
Of
it's
course, yeah. We can even do London if you want. But yeah,
yeah.
I'll be on at 3 a.m. in New York.
Okay. Okay. I'll try to be on. I'll try to be on too. But New York, I'll definitely be on. But London, I'm still not sure. I'll let you know though.
Okay. All right. Anyways, I'll see you there. Good
All right.
luck.
See you.
Bye. Anyways, Mamacita no Nani. Yeah, it's the second mom. Um, yeah, Neko, I can invite you if you want. It's just it's a trading server, so you would have member privilege. I don't know what you would be able to see. I think just the general. Um, because you're not a trader right now. But yeah, I want to make it a community eventually, like a bigger server with like a good. Oh, I can't even see you. What's your Blake? With like more serious traders and stuff, and not even other people in trading it. We could do other stuff in the server, but for now, it's where I keep my journal. It's where my friend keeps his journal too, and like our channels are private, so you can't see the journals, but you can see other things like the trading plan. You can see analysis for bonds, forex. There's a general chat. Like it's nothing big right now. It's mainly just a journal server, but I do have plans for it in the future. Anyways, I'm probably gonna get off here just to kind of summarize what I went through since 9 a.m. I talked about how we closed on the hourly chart beneath the swing higher, so I would only be looking for shorts. Then when we retraced, I wasn't falling in love with longs too much because we didn't really have the sweep, and we were creating a large wick. But as soon as 9:30 opened, we dumped lower, and then ran into a 4-hour fair value gap. So I wanted to see a 15-minute short-term low. Then we never got that 15-minute short-term low. But there I do have an alert there, and then I talked about how when we made this large wick at 10:15, the probabilities would be decreased, and I didn't like it as much because of how we weren't quickly sweeping that. And now we also left SMT, as you can see, bullish SMT. So I think we are going higher. We're just doing so in a very choppy way, as you can see on a 5-minute chart. And I think it's best to wait for PM session so you can get a continuation of what's currently going to be a reversal. That's what I'm going to be hoping for. But anyways, I might go back. I don't know if I'll be back on charts today. I have to do certain things that involved, crashing my car. I got to go and file a police report and other things in the day. We're going to go see an F1 movie with my brother. So I'll be doing that with him. But anyways, so I'll definitely trade again once I progress a bit more in uni. Just not enough time right now. Yeah, I completely get Nico. I mean, what you're doing is impressive, and I wish you luck. You already got enough on your plate, and I know you're doing whatever is best for you. But anyways, I really gotta go. So thank you for everybody that tuned in and watched. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Please, thank you for the comment and thank you for the likes if you liked. Should be back tomorrow streaming, and if everything, God willing, and if everything goes well.